The most important thing for me is to understand that the SDGs, the 2030 agenda, gives a vision. The vision of how the world should look like in 15 years. The SDGs form the base. So the SDGs are actually the base of our development cooperation.
It's a very ambitious agenda, and they all need great efforts. It's not like one goal is, oh, that's easy, we can do it in the next few years.
Engagement with the provincial level will be a critical and key issue because of the multi-layer competence architecture in the Austrian constitution, and the fact a great many of the SDGs do not only relate to a single institution, and they also do not relate to a single level of government in the vertical organization of government. They will relate in part to provincial competences as well as federal competences.
We had long discussions about how to implement the SDGs in Austria. And we decided, and the Council of Ministers decided and approved, that there is some kind of mainstreaming approach. Mainstreaming approach means that we are not, as I said before, not developing some new strategy where we do have some kind of funds and budgets for this strategy, but we said no, we go the other way around. We try to implement the SDGs in the different processes which are already ongoing.
If you compare it with Germany, there you have a centralized institution which more or less has the capacity to, and the authority to give order to ministries. This does not correspond to the Austrian system of constitution. Here it is within the competence of each ministry to implement the SDGs.
So you have this very nice language in the UN documents about transforming our world and everything, and no more business as usual, but so far I haven't seen anything but business as usual.
But don't forget, there are already many things going on. They are not called SDG or 2030 agenda or whatsoever, but as soon as we are talking about better health system for other countries, when we are talking about more clean energy for everyone, when we talk about protection of animals, then we are talking about SDGs. It's not always necessary to have the label SDG on something.
What I would have liked to see is a more coherent cross-governmental approach in that respect, and frankly, I do not see that yet. But also, frankly, we are not in charge to take care of that. This is, if at all, something which should be challenged, or should be handled, and should be provided through those two ministries that have a communication role in this process nationally, namely the Federal Chancellery and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Because if you have a look, the big new paradigm of the SDGs is actually the SDGs are related not only to the developing countries, but it's also like to industrialized countries, to all the countries. So all the countries are forced to implement them. And I think I see like the biggest challenges is like fighting poverty and fighting unemployment.
there is not a very well developed understanding of who is in charge of doing that and how the individual institutions will be interacting in meeting that challenge. Something which still has to be developed, I'm afraid. And I'm afraid I should add, we do not have 15 years to develop that, although the agenda is called Agenda 2030, but we should rather develop that quite quickly.